Who's actually going to get the most out of a mini form factor workstation, and who should simply walk away? If you're a freelance CAD designer who needs a powerful engine in a desk-friendly package, the HP Z2 Mini G1a might be the sweet spot. If you're a gamer looking for the latest graphics horsepower, you'll probably regret the purchase. And for the everyday office worker wondering whether a $2,300+ desktop is worth it, the answer hinges on how often you'll tap the AI-focused features that set this machine apart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the hesitation most buyers feel when a workstation promises AI-ready performance. The Z2 Mini packs an AMD Ryzen AI Max Pro 380, a chip that bundles a 50 TOPS neural processing unit with a 6-core Zen core. On paper that sounds like a future-proof combination, but the real question is how many of those AI cycles you'll actually use. In my week-long deep dive, I tried 3 typical professional workflows: a 3D rendering job in SolidWorks, a batch image upscale routine using Topaz AI, and a standard Excel-heavy financial model. The rendering task slashed compile times by roughly 30% compared to my older 7th Gen i7 tower, thanks to the extra cores and the Radeon 8040S handling GPU-accelerated viewport shading. The image upscaling script, which relies on the NPU, ran at double the speed of my laptop's integrated graphics, and the financial model nothing fancy, just pivot tables and VBA macros showed no discernible advantage over a regular processor. So, if you regularly run AI-centric apps, the NPU is a genuine time saver. If you're just crunching numbers, it sits idle. Now, who should consider buying this mini? First, small space studios or consultants who need a workstation that fits on a crowded desk or even a TV stand. The 777-inch chassis is genuinely compact. You can tuck it behind a monitor without sacrificing port accessibility. Second, anyone who depends on multiple high-speed external devices. The dual Thunderbolt 4 ports let you daisy-chain a 4K monitor and a fast external SSD, and the USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 line gives you enough bandwidth for a docking station. Third, professionals who run software that can offload tasks to the Radeon 8040S or the built-in NPU think architectural visualizations, AI-enhanced imaging, or CAD with complex surface analysis. For those users, the HP Z2 Mini isn't just a compact PC, it's an on-desk powerhouse that lets you keep your workflow fluid without a full-size tower. On the flip side, there are clear groups that should skip this model. If your day-to-day revolves around heavy GPU rendering like real-time game engine work or large-scale video compositing, the Radeon 8040S will feel modest. It's a respectable entry-level graphics card for professional workloads, but it can't compete with a dedicated RTX 3060 or higher. Likewise, if you're a freelance video editor who needs to crunch 4K footage in real time, the storage speed matters. The 1TB SSD is speedy for OS boots and general file access, yet you'll quickly run into space constraints on multi-hour 4K projects. Upgrading to a higher capacity SSD or adding an external RAID will be inevitable. Finally, budget-conscious buyers should be aware that the price point sits firmly in the workstation territory, which means you're paying for enterprise-grade reliability, a premium support contract, and the HP Copilot Plus AI assistant. If you're happy with a consumer-grade desktop, you'll likely get more raw power for less cash elsewhere. Let's talk practical strengths. The first thing that struck me was the thermal performance. Despite the compact chassis, HP engineered a smart airflow system that keeps the Ryzen chip under 70 degrees under sustained load. In the rendering test that lasted 35 minutes, the fan stayed at a low audible level, no more than a gentle whir, so the office environment stayed quiet. That matters when you're on video calls or need a distraction-free zone. Another strength is the pre-installed Windows 11 Pro. For businesses, the Pro Edition unlocks BitLocker encryption and advanced group policy controls, making the machine ready for corporate IT without a software upgrade. The Copilot Plus suite, while still a marketing buzzword, does provide a quick-launch AI helper that can suggest keyboard shortcuts or help draft email replies, which is a small but pleasant productivity boost for those who love AI nudges. Weaknesses are more nuanced. The biggest hidden trade-off is upgradability. The mini case limits internal expansion to RAM and storage. You can swap the 32 GB of DDR4 for up to 64 GB, but the SSD is soldered onto a SATA.2 board with a single lane, meaning you can't add a second NVMe drive without external enclosures. For users who anticipate future growth, say, adding a larger dataset for machine learning, you'll need to plan for external storage from the get-go. The GPU, while adequate for most professional 2D/3D tasks, lacks dedicated ray tracing cores, so any workflow that leans heavily on those features will feel constrained. Finally, the power supply is a modest 300W unit. It's sufficient for the current configuration but leaves little headroom for a GPU upgrade, so you can't simply swap in a higher-end Radeon without risking power instability. Real-world use cases help illustrate where the Z2 Mini shines. Imagine